what is going on? I want to talk about a topic which Terence Crawford brought up in the last night's show on DAZN. PBC did not recognise Terence Crawford as a welterweight champion. I found that disrespectful, right? I can't imagine what Terence Crawford found that. I think it was disrespectful for for PBC not to recognise Terence Crawford as a welterweight champion just because he's on the other side of the street. Terence Crawford kind of slammed the reporter a little bit yesterday when he said that, do you think you can get these fights because they're on the other side of the street? And Terence Crawford said, in boxing, there's no such thing as other side of the street. It's boxing. You know, the best fight the best. What's that all about? What does that mean, other side of the street? I think Terence Crawford is obviously frustrated the fact that the PBC are not recognising him as a world champion when everybody knows that Terence Crawford is probably the number one, if not number one, number two welterweight in the world. He's an elite fighter. He's achieved way more than any of the other welterweights in the PBC in boxing. So how you can't recognise Terence Crawford as a welterweight champion when he holds a WBO belt, I think is disgraceful. I think it's disgraceful because you cannot put 4 champions up and not have Terence Crawford as a WBO champion just because he's on the other side, just because he's with Top Rank. As Terence Crawford is spot on where he says, this is boxing. This isn't other side of the street, who you're with. This is boxing, the best fight the best. Everyone should be fighting each other. And that's how boxing should be. Boxing shouldn't be, you fight me because we have the same promoter. If you don't have the same promoter, fights can't be made. As Terence Crawford rightfully pointed out, yesterday, Maurice Hooker was with DAZN and Matchroom. Ramirez is with Top Rank, Bob Arum. They made the fight. So this is boxing. This isn't you're with him, I'm with him, so that means the fight can't happen. The best should be fighting the best. And for the PBC not to recognise Terence Crawford as a world champion in the welterweight division, for me, that shows what the problem is in boxing. And I think it definitely shows where the problem is coming from. Al Heyman is the problem. Al Heyman is the one that's stopping this, not Top Rank, because Top Rank is working with other people. Top Rank's worked with, they've worked with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. They're showing that with Lomachenko. Top Rank have worked with Golden Boy, if I'm not mistaken. The only people that are not working with anyone is Al Heyman. Al Heyman is the only time Al Heyman lets his fighter work with somebody is when they're not on a high level, they're not a high priority. Like Andy Ruiz. The reason why Andy Ruiz, Al Heyman let him work with Eddie Hearn, because Andy Ruiz isn't a big fighter. He isn't a big fighter for Al Heyman. Now he is, because he's won the title. But before he wasn't. Al Heyman only lets fighters that are C-level fighters take chances with other broadcasters and work with other promoters. Otherwise, he doesn't. And with Top Rank and Bob Arum, he doesn't have a good relationship at all. He doesn't work with them at all. And I think the main problem is Al Heyman. I think Al Heyman is stopping these big fights, and he's the one to blame. He's the one to blame. So I just think it's disgraceful, the fact that PBC did not recognise Terence Crawford as a world champion. And I think it shows whose fault it is that these big fights are not happening, with Crawford and the other top welterweights. I think we can blatantly see that it's the PBC that are not cooperating with Bob Arum and Terence Crawford in order to make the big fights. So I think the fans should get on their case and give them almost grief, because it's Al Heyman that's stopping these big fights happening in the welterweight division, which is criminal, if I'm honest, because Terence Crawford wants the big fights. You could clearly see from that interview yesterday, he was frustrated and he wants to fight everybody. But he's not bothered. He's getting compensated well. Bob Arum was right that he's getting paid well, so he doesn't need to worry. But still, from a career point of view, he needs to fight the best in order to show that he's one of the top fighters in the world. He's already shown that he's one of the top fighters in the world, but in the welterweight division, there's still unfinished business, and he can't prove it unless those guys want to fight. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Leave your thoughts, and guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.